Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Risen Esports Rampage Premade Semi-Finals as Hypnotic Gaming take on Team World Classic Blue, heading into Game 1 of this best of 5. Hypnotic have side selection. They've chosen the red side. And I kind of forgot to say this, but I'm your play-by-play casting Milky Cyril, and joining me in the casting booth is GoFrino. How you doing?
Pretty good. Reminds me a lot of last night when we're casting together. But yeah, we're flying through the bans here, and a lot of mages taken off the board. In fact, all of those champions do magical damage, and the first pick will actually be the Leona here for Team World Class Blue. Very interesting.
I was quite excited to be seeing that Vel'Koz coming through. It is Spike's favorite champion, but it won't be sneaking through this time around. He did get to play it both times in the quarterfinals, but as you mentioned, that Leona will be the first pick, and we saw that getting paired up actually with the Kai'Sa by Team World Classic Blue in said quarterfinals. Both teams smashing their way through quarterfinals with 2-0s, and in semis, it's all to play for as the Lee Sin gets locked in for Hypnotic Gaming.
Yeah, big boy play Lee Sin, and it's going to be paired with the Thresh there, so we already have two of these bot laners picked out here. Well, supports picked out who go bot lane. Very interesting that the priority is on that, because usually you do see the supports picked up in the first rotation, well, not the first rotation, the first picking phase, but you don't usually see them in the first slots, which is very interesting.
The Ashe does get picked up by World Classic Blue, and Ashe, one of the 3 ADCs that did get a bit of a nerf heading into patch 9.22. We'll have to see whether Hypnotic Gaming want to go along the lines of that Kai'Sa or Xayah as a Sejuani, a champion that has been buffed and is one of the Legacy's favorite picks, and that having been buffed as well into patch 9.22. Good to see that coming back through into the bit.
Yeah, exactly, because the Sejuani got actually some pretty hefty damage buffs this patch, if I'm not mistaken. I remember there was at least some AP ratio buffs, and so we'll have to see how it works out, especially into the Lee Sin, who can go very aggressive early. Sejuani, not the best at stomaching aggression early, unless you have that passive up to give you all that extra resistances, which does help a lot, but Lee Sin just can bring so much damage to the table early, so it might be a bit of a tricky one here for the Sejuani.
And the Cassiopeia was the final pick of the first round, and that's something that we were kind of interested in before we did come live, because Hitman plays a bit of Cassiopeia, but we're unsure whether that's bot lane Cassiopeia or if that's going to be going into the mid or top lane.
Exactly, yeah, because that would be a very interesting flex, since that is his most played champion in the bot lane here for Hypnotic Hitman. So that might just be the case here, as we even see more mid laners banned here from the side of Team World Class Blue, so they're probably thinking this is going bot as well, and that could actually be a huge flex pick here, because Syndra bot, we have been seeing that lately. Hasn't had the best success at Worlds, but it has been a pick we've been seeing, so we'll have to see how Hypnotic Gaming wants to go with these two mages.
Yeah, and going back off of what you were saying, GoFrino, all the bans are against AP champions. There is not a single AD champion in those 10 bans. The Syndra locked in, as you mentioned, for Hypnotic Gaming, and World Classic Blue, they will look to that Galio, and well, the final pick will be towards their top lane, but I do feel though Linux might be struggling on that Leona against the Thresh that counters it so hard, and potentially the Syndra as well, as a Rumble gets locked in for Classic Blue, and the Gnar will be the final pick for Hypnotic Gaming, going onto Reese's Pieces in the top lane.
Gnar indeed, because Gnar to Rumble is a very interesting matchup, because Gnar, while he is ranged, he doesn't have the greatest range, and he usually isn't able to proc the hyper passive fast enough before Rumble lands the harpoon on him and starts roasting him. So this could actually be a relatively even matchup in the top lane, despite how Gnar is usually known for bullying around those melee champions. So gonna definitely be interesting to see how that one pans out at the top.
So my question for you now, GoFrino, is it a Cassiopeia APC or is it the Syndra APC? Or maybe it's a Gnar ADC, but I think it's one of the first two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally thinking it's the Cassiopeia since that's what Hypnotic Gaming has been running so often, it feels like, or at least it's the most played champion in solo queue here for their AD carry, which is Hypnotic Hitman.
Yeah, and again, Lee Sin and Sejuani in the jungles. I think you're probably a little bit tired of me always looking towards the junglers, but I do think this is going to be quite interesting because you've got, the early game aggression from Viper on the Lee Sin, whereas you've got a bit more, I don't know, controlled play by Viper on the Sejuani. Sorry, not by Viper, by Legacy on the Sejuani, and won't really come online until we get to that level 6 mark where the Glacier Prison becomes available.
Exactly, and I mean, it is all just gonna come down to the early game here to see how Hypnotic Gaming can pilot this Lee Sin, because you do want to make the plays happen early on this champion, and Lee Sin, his entire kit is great for making those plays happen early. Sejuani, like you said, doesn't really come online until level 6, although you can gank for melee lanes relatively easy thanks to the passive where you can get the melee autos into the stun on your E. And when you do have a Gallia and Rumble, that can be pretty easy to pull off.
And of course, you've got the melee of the Leona as well in the bot lane, so that could assist as well with pulling off those ganks. However, as we do make our way into the client pick and bans, we should be getting confirmation very soon of whether it will be the Cassiopeia or the Syndra towards the bottom lane. Let's take a look though at the top lane, Gnar versus Rumble, because both of these are champions that can do very well in the split pushing aspect, but they hold their own in the team fights, especially when we look towards Happy Hippos on that Rumble with the Equalizer.
And I mean, everybody just knows how threatening the Equalizer is if you get the right one down in a team fight, because you can melt entire teams with that. Like, it doesn't matter how tanky you are, it will completely shred through your health bar. And it is all just going to be up to Happy Hippos and how he decides to position that and how he decides to work these teleports. Since Rumble, he has much less conditions for teleporting since you don't want to teleport in his mini Gnar, you want to teleport, get that Mega Gnar, get the Gnar off, and get that big man stun. Whereas with Rumble, you can immediately just TP in, drop the ultimate, and have immediate impact no matter what.
And of course, Gnar will want the tankiness from the Mega Gnar available. It will be very important for him to be able to time those TPs. And we do expect both top laners to pick up the teleport. However, once we do get into spectator delay, we can confirm that for everyone. Let's take a look to this mid lane. Now, we know we have the Galio, and it could be against the Syndra or the Cassiopeia, but I feel that this is a very beefy Colossus, but the Cassiopeia potentially could shred through.
Yeah, because sure, Galileo.
Never mind, Syndra's locked in the mid lane.
Yeah, there is technically the potential chance for swapping, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And still, though, it is gonna be very hard for the Syndra to burst out this Galio if Spike decides to build any amount of magic resist on this Galio, which is probably gonna at least happen at some point. Because Galio, he just is supposed to be an anti-mage. He gets a free magic shield. He gets all that magic reduction when he presses the Idol of Duran. So it's like he's gonna be very tough for this Syndra to kill, and Hypnotic Bliss is gonna have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, and of course Galio packs a massive punch as well, and we always talk whenever we see a Syndra can shove in those waves, rotate around, but against Spike, the Galio has a fair amount of wave clear. Again, 3 spells, a big combo, and a lot of damage could be landing onto Bliss. However, I want to take a look towards the bottom lane. Cassiopeia Thresh against the Ashe Leona. If that death sentence lands combined with a miasma, it's going to be very tricky for either Angelic Poro or Linux to be getting out of that situation.
Yeah, for sure. Although, I mean, the Petrifying Gaze is relatively easy to dodge out on, so you are gonna need that hook to land here if you are Hypnotic Gaming, because otherwise, it might be a little tricky to pull off. It is certainly doable, it's just not consistent.
Yeah, and pardon me, as I want to take a look at Hypnotic Gaming's the whole kind of generic lineup here. Because there's a lot of AP with the Cassiopeia, and the Syndra, but you do have those little bits of AD from coming through from Viper and from Reese's people.
Yeah, definitely. Because it is certainly workable, but it's not going to be a huge amount of attack damage coming out because the Lee Sin is going to fall off even if you do kick the Conqueror. I mean, yeah, that's nice, but Lee Sin's just not the best at consistently proccing it. It'll be decent for dueling at best. Whereas Reese's PCs, he isn't able to gonna be able to go full on atomization into 80. At best, he's gonna do Black Cleaver and a Blade the Rune King or a Frozen Mallet. But other than that, he is most likely going to be building up a lot of tanky stats on this Snar.
Yeah, and as we do head into Spectator today, we can get confirmation on the summoner spells. Hypnotic Gaming, they've picked up a couple of cleanses for both of their mages. So they're down TP and heal in the mid lane and the bot lane respectively.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting.
And finally, before I think we can head to a break, Legacy. Again, I've talked about how the Sejuani may be popping back into the meta after its buffs in patch 9.22. What are your personal thoughts on it? How do you think the Sejuani is going to do?
It's going to be hard to call. Obviously, in the late game, going to be very good, and the side here for World Classic Blue, they have so many tools to start off a fight between Leona's Solar Eclipse, you got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Galio can go on with the Hero Punch, and then of course Dig Legacy and Happy Hippos have their ultimates, so it is gonna... Dig Legacy, he doesn't have to be the first man to throw out his ult, but he is gonna be mostly used for that in team fights, I feel, that and general disruption.
Well, two split pushes in the top lane, and Hitman playing the APC, the Cassiopeia, returns to the bottom lane. We're going to be heading into a short break, but we'll be right back with the first game of the Rampage Premade Semifinals between Hypnotic Gaming and Team World Classic Blue. See you in just a short bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of the evening. And right as I say that, we head into a pause. Go Farina. I think I jinxed it. I just shouldn't talk.
What if you wanted to cast and the players said no? But yeah, we are in a pause. No Hitman load bug. So Hypnotic Hitman on the Cassiopeia had a loading bug. And yeah.
And for those people out there who are fans of pauses, we've got 30 minutes worth of pauses across 5 games that can be used up. So, you know, we could be spending a long time getting to know each other, Go Farina. However, we are back underway, and World Classic Blue are looking for the 5-man defense, though it seems.
Yeah, although looks like they're just going to be chilling in the bush for now, because side of Hypnotic, they're not really looking for too much action right now. Hypnotic Hitman, he might try and get a cheeky little miasma or caustic spit on him.
Oh, he shows his face for a second, but there will be no engage. But he's going to come again this time with Mr. Shmee. Linux, though, he doesn't start the E. He has started the Shield of Daybreak and decides against going for the Flash Q. No shenanigans just yet, as Reese's Pieces drops down a nice little red trinket on the blue buff.
Exactly, because Hypnotic Hitman, he does have the cleanse on the Cassiopeia, so if you flash and Shield of Daybreak him, he's going to instantly cleanse and flash himself. Granted, you do have follow-up CC, but either way, nothing too much of it comes, except for Angelic Poro being like down an auto attack's worth of health.
Yeah, and actually, Viper's being left to take a red buff by himself, as both junglers do start on the red buff. There is a ward that will catch Viper out if he does make his way to the Krugs as well. Not the Krugs, to Raptors, and he will get spotted out as he makes his way to the bottom side of the map.
Yeah. So that is going to be very vital information to know he's coming to this bot lane ASAP. Or potentially coming to this bot lane ASAP, or just going to tell Angelic Poro here and I call Linux, you know, play safe for a little bit. Don't get too aggressive. There might be a blind monk in the vicinity.
Very early play from Mr. Shmee. Won't be able to quite catch Linux. As Hitman playing fairly aggressively, looking for those twin fangs, as the Q will not be able to find its mark, and Viper on his blue buff now, and then could look to make his way down to the bottom side. No wards in the tri bush or the river bush, but we can even try to sneak through in through the lane bushes themselves.
Either way, good place to be set up here. But with how the wave's going, it is going to be crashing into tower. So Hypnotic Viper, he probably can't really come bot right now unless a really good hook lands and yoinks Angelic Poro out of the tower's range, since Linux will be a little bit of a trickier pickle to kill.
However, Viper, though, is going to look towards the mid lane. Will be able to sneak in, and here we go. He's off the just a punch away, but there will come the taunt and a fair bit of damage with the Winds of War as well, as the electric does get procced, and Spike and Viper take a fair amount of damage.
Yep, and overall, everybody gets out all fine and dandy. Spike is going to eat the Scatter the Weak stun, though, so more damage being piled onto this Galio, who is fresh out of potions. Although, Dig Legacy is hovering the top side, he might be looking for something here.
Legacy is indeed looking for something, as the Justice Punch countered instantly by the Scatter of the Weak, and it's going to make it very difficult for Spike to find any real wage to all in onto this Syndra.
For sure, because I mean, if that happens every time and you're denied the Aftershock proc, that is a lot of lost tanky stats, which is really crucial to Galio's mid lane trading pattern, because you want all that extra magic resist when you go in, so you're just the tankiest thing ever and they can't kill you to save their life. But when you don't have that, killing you is a lot easier.
Yeah, as Legacy makes his way to his Raptors, could look for the gank towards this bot lane as Linux He pops the Eclipse, but doesn't go in, as Angelic Poro takes a lot of damage. And this lane isn't going too well for Classic Blue so far, especially with the aggression.
Oh, the flash!
As the flash play comes in, can he land the death sentence? Yes, he can! Angelic Poro will get taken down as first blood picked up by Mr. Shmee.
Yep, Dig Legacy is in the area, but chooses to back off towards his Krug's, deciding nothing to be gained of in this bot lane. And beautiful play here coming up from the Hypnotic bot lane, just able to chip down this Ashe and then go in and get the hook and get the flay. Really good heads up play there by Mr. Shmee to just go in for that.
Mr. Shmee timing that flash play so well. Picks up the kill onto Angelic Poro, and Flash and Heal are now down for the ADC. Linux still has all his sums up, but maybe that is enough to see Viper maybe poke his head down towards this bottom lane.
Yep, we'll have to see, because that could be relatively easy of a gank. But also at the same time, so far during this laning phase, although it's been relatively short, Mr. Shmee and Hypnotic Hitman have been pushing him very hard. So Hypnotic Viper, he's going to really want that level 6 if they're going to keep up that lane state, because, I mean, you're going to want to kick him out of that turret before you go in, usually. Ooh, the flash!
The flash miasma comes through. Here is Hypnotic. Viper. Angelic Poro has nowhere to go, and he will get taken down as Hypnotic Hitman picks up the second kill of the game for Hypnotic Game.
Yeah, just brutal there, recognizing, hey, this Ashe is overextended. Just flash in, get that big miasma slow, and mow him down with the Twin Fangs.
The wave pushes towards Hypnotic Blitz in the mid lane. Level 6 available for both mid laners and top laners as well. So that could be coming in a pretty big, especially if Happy Hippo decides to make a TP down as an Electro Harpoon finds Reese's Pieces, and a good trade for Happy Hippos. He has that equalizer available, and with Reese's Pieces very far away from the Meganar, he could look for the all-in as the Cloud Drake hasn't been started up by Hypnotic Gaming.
Yeah, indeed, as looking like it's gonna be a free take since Dig Legacy nowhere.
Oh, no.
Ooh, Reese's Pieces. He's gotten really low right now.
The second Electro Harpoon missed its mark, because if that had landed, I'm sure there would have been an equalizer dropped down. However, Reese's Pieces is going to have to be very, very careful indeed as the Flame Spitter comes through. Not going to be able to find enough damage. The flash all in. Meganar is here. Happy Hippo, does he have anything he can do? The equalizer will come through as well as the Flame Spitter as Legacy turns up as well. Reese's Pieces will just head back under the safety of his turret.
Yep, an exchange of ultimates there, but Reese's Pieces did blow his flash to try and make that play happen, and ultimately nothing came out of it for either of these top laners. Definitely a big, unfortunate circumstance there if you are Reese's Pieces, since that did look pretty guaranteed, but you just didn't have enough damage to go through that scrap shield, sadly.
I feel like he could have gone for the play, but Legacy showed up, and with that Glacial Prison available, as Hypnotic Viper will get hit by the Justice Punch, dashes out of the taunt as there comes the Body Miasma onto Angelic Poro. Now the focus will go onto Linux as there is their cleanse. Angelic Poro dishes out the Rangers. Focus are now looking to turn this onto Mr. Shmee as the entire Crystal Arrow will miss its mark, but the Frost Shot is slowing down Shmee. The hook will land and the play as well. Angelic Poro finds the kill as it is so close, but here comes Viper in the mid lane. Can they find anything onto Spike at all? As the Q will miss his mark, but Justice Punch forward, and Spike will take a lot of damage now. The flash in, Spike flashes out. He finds the taunt, but there comes the Dragon Rage Kick as Legacy dashes in with the Arctic Assault, unable to find Viper. As the Q away to safety, Viper still running for his life and will be able to use a safeguard to safety, but I saw Reese's Pieces for a second and thought that might have been Happy Hippos, but it is not. 2 kills for 2 across the map, if I'm not mistaken. As if not
Glacial Prison.
Glacial Prison finds its mark, but the Winter's Wrath unable to land. Hypnotic, Viper will just lose some time. As, oh, the CC lands onto Hitman, but he will be able to take the Lantern out to safety. Just be careful with that cleanse down right now, as Legacy gets spotted out by Control Ward, and no Glacial Prison available for him, so he can't execute a nice pick in the bottom.
Yeah, and have to wonder why he didn't use the Glacial Prison initially when Hypnotic Viper dashed over to the Raptors in that play. It felt like he could have killed him, but sadly wasn't able to, and that's gonna hurt a little. Not the end of the world, but it is gonna suck a little.
TP is available for Happy Hippo, so I would like to see maybe Angelic Toro or Linux dropping down a nice deep ward, and then the TP down from Hippos, combined with an equalizer, could be so big. Rift Herald is up on the Rift as well. We'll have to see whether Legacy or Viper want to go for that objective, but at the moment both junglers are on the bottom side.
Yep, and we'll have to see what happens here. Hypnotic Bliss is walking up towards that top lane a little, but it looks like he was just going to place a controller. Ooh. Zenith Blade barely missing out.
Yeah, Zenith Blade
might not matter.
Close, but Linux, oh, he finds the CC, but here comes the Lee Sin. Can't quite pull off the insect, but that is a fantastic ultimate in. Shmi takes a lot of damage. Zenith Blade will follow regardless. Linux, though, looking for Hitman. He finds a CC. Hitman with nowhere to go, and it will be the double kill to Angelic Poro as a taunt lands in the river. Bliss trying to make it out as a Protobelt forward flash away from Bliss Spike. Will not be able to find the Winds of War as Scatter of the Week comes through. It is 3 kills for nothing going over to World Classic Blue as Happy Hippos just sends out an Electro Harpoon, won't be able to find enough damage. Still, that equalizer is available.
Yep, and I don't know if he's going to be looking for anything right now, though, with how healthy Reese's PCs is and the fact he does still have the little Gnar hop, so it might be a little hard to catch out this Gnar with just the equalizer. But look in the bot lane. There's the hook.
Oh, Death Sentence won't be able to find his mark. The Flash Miasma comes through. Linux is the focus, but they can't find anything to play onto Angelic Poro, who's able to flash out and sends a volley to find a bit of a poke onto Hitman. But I think it might be about time for Poro and Linux to maybe take a trip back to the base and pick up some money.
Yeah, now that's a full Blade of the Ruin King and Berserker's Greaves already complete for Angelic Poro here. So this is a pretty huge power spike. Since Cassiopeia, while she does have pretty decent burst, she is primarily sustained damage, and the Blade of the Ruin King just helps you tank through that so much, since you're able to consistently heal back up yourself. So it might turn the tides of this bot lane a little here. We'll have to see.
Legacy looks towards the Rift Herald as Viper is in the bottom side of the map, and Hitman will back. He picks up that Archangel Staff, so both our bot laners have now completed their first items, and tier 2 boots also completed for both supports here. As actually, interestingly, Linux deciding for the Merc Treads over the Moby boots.
Yeah, although if you're thinking purely about this lane, it does make sense since he hasn't been able to roam all that much, because the instant he roams, then Hypnotic Hitman and Mr. Shmi just immediately run down Angelic Poro, and there's nothing too much a Flashless Ashe can do against that. So why not stay in lane? Have the Merc Treads to help yourself with all the hooks, the stuns, the slows, the CC, every which thing that can get thrown at you, and help yourself stay a little longer.
Rift Herald has just been picked up by Legacy, and Viper will take that opportunity to look towards the Ocean Drake. He did get spotted out by a ward, and Legacy not going to drop the Rift Herald instantly. Only 2 seconds left now as the Death Sentence will land. A play can't quite take Spike over the wall, and now Spike, of course, will not going to be able to find Smart. The Dark Spear will land. Bliss will take the Lantern out to safety, but as I was mentioning, Frino, we've hit the 14-minute mark, and no more turret plates available.
Yep, I'm gonna need no more extra free stacks of cash to pick up Mr. Shmi. He's looking for a hook here. He does have Viper in the wings as well if one does land, so bot lane here for World Class Blue, they're gonna have to be pretty careful.
Yeah, those Murphy boots just allowing Mr. Shmee to get as close as he can to Linux and Poro, but with a volley available, it does become a bit hard, a lot of slower. Here we go, Reese's Pieces going in as he just hit that Mega Gnar form, but won't be anything except for a boulder throw, or a boulder toss, I should say. As Legacy making his way into the bottom lane, will sneak into the brush. Does he push forward? Because he would get spotted out by a ward.
Yep. There aren't any wards right now, so Dig Legacy. He does have the. Oh, I think he spotted out on that ward. Was he?
Don't know, because the Legacy stepped out of the brush for a second when that ward got spotted, so I don't know. Hitman and Shmee playing it very defensive, so probably did get spotted. Okay, and he could just drop the Rift Tower right now, as Viper is in the top side of the map. Of course, the Legacy is unaware of that right now.
Yeah, it would be a little cocky to just flat out drop the Rift Tail there. I think you want to just huck out the Glacial Prison first, because when you do that, there's no flash on this Cassiopeia here for Hitman, so that lands he's forced to melee cleanse, and then you have the Solar Eclipse come down. So you could very easily lock up this Cassiopeia, but it does look like that ward did sadly spot out Dig Legacy Sejuani, so putting a little bit of a hole in the game plan here for World Class Blue.
5 kills to 4 at the 16-minute mark. The advantage is ever so slightly in favor of World Classic Blue. Only a few hundred gold separating both these teams. CS is also extremely high for both these mid laners at 150 point after only 16 minutes. So it's just been a farm fest in this mid lane. Neither mid lane has really, you know, roamed anywhere just yet, as Death Sentence does land. There comes a volley. Does Linux want to go and will get grounded by the Miasma, and decides against fishing for that Solar Eclipse.
Yep. Dig Legacy is still in his bot lane, but he is on ward. Gonna spot it out now, and he can play the waiting game, although he's been in this bot lane for so long. Granted, we might have a bit of a scuffle in the river here over the scuttle. Everybody's squaring up for 2 versus 2, and bot lane could easily answer this, but that won't be the call.
Glacial Prison will land, and oh, the enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't find its mark, as Hitman just takes the Lantern safe.
Yep, and we might have a counter engage.
Oh, the Miasma doesn't cancel the Rift Tower fall. Another focus onto Shmee, gets taken down, but the TD coming in is a 5-man in the bot lane. Hero's entrance will turn up, doesn't find the knockup as Bliss flashes away. There comes the equalizer, but it's not quite enough to find the kill. Bliss solo as Legacy plays very aggressively, gets healed up as a poison ticks down, but won't quite find the kill. Shelly gets off a charge onto the turret. Viper follows in with the resonating strike, finds the angelic horror, forced to flash out. CC lands onto Viper, but he won't get hit. He won't get CC to buy the Winter's Wrath. Viper goes in once again. Spike gets taken down, Bliss finding the kill, but Hitman finds the Miasma. Does he want to keep on going on to Legacy? Reese's Pieces hits the Mega Gnar form, but won't be able to engage. However, Hypnotic Gaming turning things around, looking for the engage on the turret, and it's the all in the wrong direction. He doesn't find the CC onto anyone. A Scatter of the Week locks Legacy down, but he just survives with a slither of HP once again. Are Hypnotic Gaming done just yet? No, they are not. Viper looking to make his way around, but the backs have already come through, and Hypnotic Gaming will just have to settle with picking up the first turret of the game.
Yeah, but first turret is still pretty good off the back of what was basically just a 1-for-1. A very extended 1-for-1, may I add.
Yes.
That is still a slight edge, you take that, and I mean, one of the crucial things about that fight, though, for Hypnotic was, I mean, Reese's Pieces wasn't mini Gnar for the vast majority of that. Had he had the Mega Gnar much more sooner, I feel like that fight could have gone much more in the favor here for Hypnotic.
And that's something that we were talking about as well in the drafting phase, you know. Hippos can just TP down and drop that equalizer, whereas Reese's Pieces, he can TP down, but he won't be as effective unless that rage bar is very close to being full.
Exactly, and that is one of the hardest parts about Gnar in competitive 5s, that when you TP down, you have to TP down at that right moment. If you don't, really does hinder you. Oh, the Glacial Prison
will land, but there is the cleanse, but everything comes through. Enchanted Crystal Arrow just misses its mark, but Legacy takes the kill regardless.
Yep, and that's the thing here with this comp that's been drafted by World Class Blue. It's like, yeah, cleanse is really good against them because you can cleanse some of their major ultis, but thing is, they have so many huge tools for engage here on their ultimates that are just massive CCs, and you only get a cleanse one, Milky, and cleansing just one can be hard. Ooh, the play. Not quite.
Play doesn't quite land onto Linux. Reese's Pieces fishing for those boomerang throws. Will get spotted out by Happy Hippos and will be forced to use the Hyper out as Death Sentence lands onto Spike, but he can Justice Punch out. And there's no way Mr. Shmi wants to follow that into the 5 members of World Classic that are waiting in the mid lane. Hypnotic, Viper looking for the Sonic Waves. As it's just going to be a bit of an NA ram, so as to speak, in the mid lane for now. But Reese's Pieces, he's had enough. He's going to make his way to the top side and look at just pushing away from it.
Yep, keep in mind Reese's Pieces does not have the teleport on this Gnar, so if a fight does break out in the mid lane, it would be a 4 versus 5. And speaking of fights,
Flare lands. Bliss though. Out comes the Unleashed Power. Linux, so will he fall? The poison takes it down, and Hitman will find the kill.
Yeah, that was so close there, but in the end, the poison was more than enough to take down that Leona, and there was a 300 gold shutdown bonus as well you gave over to this Cassiopeia. That can be a bit of a yikers for the side of World Class Blue, since Cassiopeia known for just plowing through teams with their DPS in the late game.
Yeah, so Hitman steps very far forward. The taunt, it will land. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow ends up getting tanked by Shmi, as there comes the Glacial Prison as well. Hitman so low. Can they find any damage to catch off? The weak comes down. Legacy super, the poison ticks down, but it doesn't matter. Hitman gets taken down unless it's a double kill for Spike. Now Viper will be able to find what he finds a second as the hero's entrance comes in too late, and Spike might have just hero's entrance to his doom. He tries to Justice Punch away. He side steps the Q, but here comes Linux, and there comes the boomerang throw as well. Linux now has to run for the hills. Might have just killed himself. The Solar Flare will come out. Linux will fall, and it's just a case of one after the other. Somehow Hypnotize come on top with the extended 8. 10 kills versus 10 kills 22 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and what started off as a good play there for World Class Blue, especially with Spike Peak 29 just going back in and getting those 2 kills instantly on the Scalio, just kind of ended in travesty there, as Spike also tried to use the hero's entrance to save his buddy, but that wasn't enough. He dies, and then he gets Linux killed too.
And it's just 2 extra kills that were not needed. Death Sentence lands on to the Sejuani, and the Equalizer comes out. Dragon Rage kicked away, but the Galio's in the backline. He finds the CC onto Viper. The Lantern will not save him. Reese's Pieces, the Rangers focus, picks up the kill. Hypnotic Gaming have overstayed their welcome, and there is a Baron available. This could prove costly from Hypnotic.
Yeah, we will have to see if that is the... Oh, Lord, excuse me. If that is the call indeed, as... they are eyeing it up, but it is still fairly early in the game, and there's still some huge damage left on the side of Hypnotic Gaming. And that Baron buff, magic resist buff, you wouldn't really want to be taking that against a Cassiopeia and Syndra like this.
Yeah, Hitman and Bliss starting to get strong, but Angelic Horror is hitting his power spikes, as he has just picked up the Runaan's Hurricane. Going to be a battle of vision at the moment now, as World Classic Blue just looking to get as much vision in the river as they can, so they can turn to that Baron as quickly as possible. All members are now up, and we do have a second Cloud Drake of the game spawning. All the Drakes so far have gone to Hypnotic Gaming, and World Classic Blue will be looking to turn that one around.
Yeah, and it hasn't been the best spawns, quote unquote, since not everybody likes the Cloud Dragons or the Ocean Dragons, but
yeah,
I mean, denying a 4th elemental buff for the upcoming Elder in this game, that is going to be fairly huge, because once you get above 3 elder buffs, that's when the damage gets insane. Just 3 itself is pretty strong, but it's like semi-doable. But once you get to 4 and above, then it's just like you can't really team fight against it.
Mr. Shmee might be looking for some more death sentences. We'll just clear out more and more vision at the Drake, but look at Reese's Pieces just split pushing in the top lane. Habiba is trying to do a bit of split pushing himself, but Spike very aggressively will come out the insta cleanse against the Glacial Prisoners. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not find its mark. Linux playing very aggressively as Hypnotic Gaming getting forced out of the river. Viper, he lands the Sonic Wave. Will he follow up with the Resonating Strike? He sides against it for now as Linux. Here we go! He finds the seal. Viper picks it out and he dashes out clean as you like. Petrifying Gaze will land onto a Happy Hippos, and there comes the play. The heroes enters way too late. Viper picks up a kill with the Sonic Wave, and now he's gonna look for more. The taunt will come in, and the flash Resonating Strike. The Dragon Rage kick comes through onto Linux. Solar Flare will find 3 members, but Linux gets taken down anyway. Hypnotic are clean, but Viper is so huge for Hypnotic Gaming in that fight.
Yeah, absolute hero play there to steal the Baron, get out, and then help his team kill 4 members. And with this double ocean, any damage they took in that previous fight is basically gone. And now it's Baron time right here, Milky. Only 1 member left, but it is Dig Legacy. Does he have the smite here? But I don't think he's going to get in time to be able to try and even contest this Baron, sadly.
And that was a 4v5. Reese's Pieces wasn't even in that fight. He was split pushing in the top lane, and you can see that wave crashing under the top lane inhibitor turret. Now, Baron has been secured, a 5k goal lead, despite this big game being so close in the kill department.
Yeah, and now with this Baron, expect this gold lead to only get bigger, because it's going to be real easy to get some towers right now, and that's going to only help further this gold lead that has just fallen into the pockets of Hypnotic Gaming.
However, as we do start to get towards this mid phase of the game, we're going to be starting to see potentially Happy Hippos getting more relevant than Reese's Pieces in these fights, and the same can probably be said for Legacy as well.
Yeah, although one thing to point out, if you look over at the side of World Class Blue, there's already 1 adaptive helm completed here for Dig Legacy, and that does so much to help out against the damage coming out of Hypnotic Hitman, and even Hypnotic Bliss, since he throws out a lot of spheres, and the ultimate does count as multiple instances of the same damage. And keep on the lookout for more adaptive helms here on the squad here for World Class Blue, because that will just negate so much damage. There's the...
Oh, Glacial Prison will land. There comes the Equalizer. Enchanted Crystal Arrow once again misses. Viper into the backline. He finds the Dragon Rage kick onto Koro, but it's not enough. Out comes the body. Focus onto Shmee first, and then to Justice Punch as Angelic Pyro getting as much damage as he was. But there comes the Scatter of the Week. It's a double kill going over to Bliss. Make that another. Viper finds a kill onto Spike, and it is a 4 kills for 1. That might be it. Hypnotic Gaming, they are looking to push through. They pick up the inner turret in the mid lane, and now they look for the inhibitor turret as well. This could potentially be a game. 20 seconds to the death timer on Angelic Pyro. The inhibitor will be destroyed as Hypnotic Gaming, they're looking for the end. Legacy is the only one standing right now. Linux will respawn, but the first Nexus turret has fallen. Do they go in? Yes, they do. There comes the Scatter of the Week. Linux gets taken down. Here comes the Happy Hippos. I don't quite know if he has the damage, as the Equalizer is not yet available. The collapse under turret is just looking to pick up the final Nexus turret here, and it will fall. It's an open base. Viper will get engaged by Spike, but who is engaging on who? Spike finds Bliss. He'll find the taunt as well, but look at Viper fishing, trying to get into the backline. He'll take down Legacy, and now he can look for Spike as well. Spike will fall. It's a double kill, and it is another ace. Hypnotic Gaming will clean up, and they will take the first game of the night.
Yeah, and a valiant last-ditch attempt there by World Class Blue, but sadly it wasn't enough in the face of Hypnotic Gaming there, who now take this game and lead the series 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0 It was quite close in the first 15 minutes or so, but then all of a sudden, when the team fights really started coming in, Hypnotic Gaming were the ones who were just able to find the objectives no matter what happened.
Exactly, yeah, and like the biggest objective there that we saw was that fourth dragon fight that just really blew
Mm.
up in the game. They won that here for the side of Hypnotic. They transitioned that into the Baron, and then they won themselves a game number one.
Cleanly done by cleanly done by Hypnotic Gaming. Both these teams had a fairly easy time in quarterfinals, but pardon me, but World Classic Blue stepping up against Hypnotic, making them work for it. We're going to head into a short break, but we will be right back with game 2 of the night. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rampage Premade Semi-Finals between Hypnotic Gaming and Team World Classic Blue. Team World Classic have picked the they've picked the red side for game 2, but once again, GoFrino, it's looking like some very similar bans, although this time there's going to be a Cassiopeia getting banned out.
Yeah, no surprise there. Giving that over, it looks like it was a bit of a mistake in the first game with how well the hypnotism bot lane performed on that.
As the Echo will be the final ban, more AP laners are getting banned away. No one's scared of AD, it seems. However, here we go. Hypnotic Gaming with the first pick. We saw a lot of focus in the last drafting phase towards the supports earlier on. We'll have to see whether that's the case again. But no, Hypnotic Gaming, they want to lock that Lee Sin in for Viper once again.
Yeah, and Viper had a very clean game on the Lee Sin last time around, getting a lot of kills for his team, and most importantly, we have to remember that one Dragon fight where he made that huge hero play that eventually led his team to win the game. But World Class Blue, they're going to try and do the run back with the bot lane they had last game, even though they had some fairly rough luck on it to start off with.
The Ashley Leona locked in once again. However, this time they won't have to play against a Cassiopeia. I would be very surprised though if we don't see that Thresh getting locked in again. Pardon me, because it is a good counter to the Leona with that Flay. The Lucian will get locked in first, and maybe it would even be paired with a Nautilus or a Braum here as well.
Yeah, we will have to see, because last game we didn't even really see too much of the Thresh countering Leona interactions there, since a lot of it was just Hypnotic Gaming's bot lane being the aggressors there, and the only time we saw world-class Elite's bot lane really try and pick fights is when they had their jungler Deep Legacy around, and usually you win a 3 versus 2.
The Nautilus though will get locked in, so Hypnotic Gaming just want to go for a lot of aggression early on, and well, all 3 picks do match that ideology, let's say. World Classic Blue with their final pick of the first phase. Let's see whether they try to answer that Lee Sin in the jungle.
Yeah, and it is going to be a jungler here for World Class Blue. The Hecarim is very interesting, because he can provide a lot of aggression early, I believe. But also he is fairly squishy early on, especially since he wants to itemize that Triforce first. Doesn't really get all that tanky until about 2nd or 3rd item-ish. So Viper on the Lee Sin might just be able to completely burst out Dig Legacy's Hecarim here.
Yeah, and practically the same second phase bans coming through once again. The Malzahar, Swain, Cho'Gath, and we'll have to see whether maybe some more focus towards Spike, potentially that Ari or Silas could get banned away as well. Last time it was the Mordekaiser that got banned. Let's see if they go for that again.
Yeah, and it is actually not going to be the Mordekaiser. It is going to be Orianna, one of the most played champions here for Spike in the mid lane, if I'm not mistaken. As it is going to be the Syndra here for World Class Blue, pulling a bit of a no-you in this draft. Very interesting, but Syndra definitely a fairly solid pick in this meta.
Yeah, and let's see what Bliss wants to pick against that Syndra. He plays a bit of a LeBlanc, so that could be one way to answer the Syndra. But the Rise is going to get picked up. Will that be in the top lane, or will it be for Bliss in the mid lane? Reese's Pieces had a really good game on the Gnar back in game 1. Let's see if Hypnotic Gaming want to put him on that split pusher again for game 2.
Yeah, because that was a huge thing in game number 1. There were certain periods of time where he was just split putting on that Gnar, and nobody really answered him, so he's able to pick up a lot of free gold for himself and a lot of towers for himself. But this time it does look like it is going to be the cannon for him in the top lane instead. You can definitely split push on the cannon, but definitely not as potent as the Gnar. Still though, very potent teleports, and you don't have to worry about that little mini Gnar going in, because if you go in as mini cannon, well, you're always mini cannon and you always have the Vengeful Maelstrom, so not as big of a deal.
stole the words right out of my mouth there, go 3-0. Mordekaiser, though, will get locked in for Team World Classic Blue, and the one ban that they didn't make the same as in the first draft will sneak through. Hypnotic Gaming did ban the Oriana instead. I guess we'll have to see just how good Happy Hippos Mordekaiser will be. What do you think though, Mordekaiser into Ken? How is this lane going to turn out?
Mordekaiser into the Kennen is going to be very interesting because if he's able to land that little claw of his, that is going to be very huge, and this Kennen is going to be in for a world of hurt. But of course, since he is a melee champion, the Kennen here for Reese's Pieces can just go to town and potentially go for the Klepto build here in this lane matchup and just turbo farm off this guy. Or even if he wants to, he could try and go for the AD Kennen route for a much more split push route playstyle. We haven't seen that in a while, but it would do fairly decent into the Mordekaiser, because AP Kennen, he isn't really going to be able to burst the Mordekaiser down hard enough once the Mordekaiser gets like an item or two and some levels under his belt. So we will have to see how Reese's Pieces does want to pilot this Kennen, because he definitely does have options going into this laning phase.
And then in the mid lane, Bliss versus Spike. Spike once again on the Syndra, but should be able to do a bit more than what she was able to do against the Galio. Should be able to just shove in a little bit more, at least before that 20-minute mark when Rise will get going with that Seraph's Embrace and potentially the likes of a Rebels.
The thing is though, the Rise is a little bit of a ticking time bomb because he just can get explosive damage in the late game, and World Class Blue, he can blow up anyone on their side since there isn't any super tank on their side. Sure, we're gonna see a little bit of tankiness coming out of here of Dig Legacy and Happy Hippos, but they aren't gonna be the super Spirit Visage 250 MR tanks that might give Rise a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and both sides have one tank and is on the support in both situations, but I want to take a look at, you know, the whole kind of the generic 5v5 team fight, because, you know, while Hypnotic Game, they do have a stronger 5-man team fight with the Slicing Maelstrom and, well, as people seem to be terming it, the Shotgun Rise, that Mordekaiser ultimate can be so pivotal in turning the team fights up.
Exactly, because you send someone to the death realm with you, that can be absolutely huge for team fights, because let's say you get the Kennen out of the team fight when he presses that Vengeful Maelstrom, that's going to be pretty huge. Let's say you're just able to ult away Hypnotic Hitman's Lucian here and maul him down. That's going to be very crucial because Hitman, he's going to be a huge source of DPS. I don't know if you want to try and go for the play on Bliss, since Bliss might just be able to cut you out super hard thanks to the Rune Prison and the Phase Rush if he does decide to take that. But hey, maybe if Happy Hippos is feeling a little confident, he could try that too.
Yeah, and then let's head towards the bot lane, because the bot lane I feel was really important in game 1. Game 2 though, Lucian Nautilus against the Ashe Leona. 2 early game ADCs and 2 engage supports. How do we see this one panning out?
This is going to be very interesting. The Ashe is a lot more vulnerable than the Lucian, since Lucian, he does have the Relentless Pursuit. Sure, it's a fairly long cooldown, especially early on, before you get some ranks into it, but it is still an option, and you're able to dodge out on those Zenith Blades, whereas for this Ashe here for Angelic Poro, you don't have that luxury, and Dredge Lines, they can be flying at you left and right, and that Relentless Pursuit, I mean, Hypnotic Hitman goes in with that. He's able to just completely chunk you down really fast. Combine that with Nala Spades damages, combine with that Ignite. Angelic Poro, he will very easily die if a single Dredge Line lands onto him.
And in game 1, Angelic Poro on this Ashe, again, it was the exact same bot lane for World Classic Blue. But Angelic Poro, he struggled a bit with landing those Enchanted Crystal Arrows. Hopefully in game 2 he can turn it around a bit and just improve that snipe accuracy.
Yeah, because Angelic Poro, he's going for follow-up arrows, since Hypnotic Hitman was taking the cleanse on the Cassiopeia, so want to predict that a little. Sadly though, like you said, it wasn't really working out the best there, and it did leave a lot to be desired, because a lot of the reason why you do pick Ashe is that I mean, she brings global engage from the ADC role, which is very valuable, because the only other ADCs with real engage are Varus and Sivir, but those are not global ultimates that can stun you for upwards of 3.5 seconds. And if you're missing that on Ashe, you're kind of losing like about a third to maybe even about a half-ish of the reason why you pick this champ, depending on how far or behind you are.
With all of that said and done, though, we're going to be heading into a short break, but we will be right back with game 2 of the night between Hypnotic Gaming and Team World Classic Blue. See you in just a short bit. So, as I was saying, Gofrino, you know when we hit 5, that's when we press play. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hypnotic Gaming taking on Team World Classic Blue for Game 2 of the evening. Just a bit of friendly banter between myself and Gofrino. But we are well and truly underway. Bit of a 5-point start from both teams. No early game shenanigans in Game 2.
Yeah, although Hypnotic Hitman, he gets a little cheeky and drops that word by the blue. Ooh. There's a little bit of cheekiness coming out of here from Hypnotic. Maybe they're feeling a little giddy after that game #1 win they got. Who knows? Although, I mean, that was a pretty free word to place down and a free kick to go in on. But
go on, Lee Syndrome, on to Hippo. Okay.
My mind's telling me no.
100% accuracy rate with the Sonic Waves so far from Viper in Game 2. Wasn't quite 100% in Game 1, but it was fairly high. Viper making a few pretty neat plays, and well, that one play that he made at Drake was massive. Stole the Drake, got out of the Drake pit. He sniped a kill with a Sonic Wave onto Linux. And then he just turned up for the rest of the fight and found another 2 kills. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, although this is very interesting coming out from World Class Blue. Their bot lane feigns the leash, coming to bot lane late. Whereas Dig Legacy, he actually starts the Raptor solo on the Hecarim. And since he took the Talisman, he's able to do that pretty healthily. Does cost him a health potion though. Ooh, Dredge line.
Oh, Dredge.
But this could actually have some big consequences here. We'll have to see. I believe that's a Ghost Poro ward up in that top red brush, though, that he's just stepping into right now. So it might be all for naught. Oh, no, that's just a normal ward, so this does actually get spotted out. And all that cheekiness was for naught, it would seem.
Yeah, and both junglers starting on their red side is Linux. Hits level 2 first. Looks to potentially go in, but Hitman and Mr. Shmee get a level 2 as well, and well, Linux decides against going in, but those dredge lines land. There's going to be a lot of damage coming out courtesy of the Lightninger from Hitman.
Yeah, a lot of damage indeed, but they are going to have to land. That's the first thing, and that can be a little bit tricky while this minion wave is in the way. So for now, Angelic Poro and Linux are both safe.
Oh, there is a blue ping in the top side of the map. Viper will be looking to potentially go in onto Hippos, but Hippos on the turret, so Viper will go for the next best thing, which is for the Krugs, which Legacy surprisingly didn't take on his first clip, on his first path through the top side jungle.
Yep, although it does mean that Viper is still on this top side jungle, and Happy Hippos, he's gonna have to be very careful on this Mordekaiser. For now, he's pushed under tower and should be relatively safe since he's fairly healthy. Ooh, Dredge line. But, I mean, it is something he's got to be careful of because this lane is gonna push out eventually.
Also, Bliss has just backed and TP'd back into lane as a
Hecarim.
Mark. Legacy turns up, the Dredge line comes through. Look at the damage! Legacy's gonna get taken down! First blood to Hypnotic Gaming. And Legacy, that is not how to execute a gank in the bottom lane, unfortunately. That being said, very well played by Hypnotic as another Dredge line lands. The damage coming through so quickly onto Linux. And that's exactly what we were saying. The Dredge line lands, there is so much damage to follow up.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes back to what we said, Milky, that Hecarim is not very tanky at all until he gets some items under his belt and some levels under his belt. But when you're charging into lane as a level 3 Hecarim versus a level 3 bot lane that has their Ignite up, it was just so easy for Mr. Shmee and Hypnotic Hitman to just turn on to Dig Legacy there and get that easy first blood. And this is now a double buff.
Every time Linux steps in front of his minions, I'm thinking, oh no, this is gonna end badly. As you mentioned though, Hitman with the double buffs. This is absolutely terrible news for Poro and Linux, and indeed the entire team of World Classic Blue. Reese's Pieces just looking to get that poke off onto the melee Mordekaiser, try to get as many Kleptomancy stacks as possible. CS fairly even, bit of an advantage.
Oh, the hook!
Mid lane. Oh, the flash hook comes through. Hitman finds the kill. GG easy, says Mr. Schmee.
Yeah, and that was just a little bit of disrespect coming out from Angelic Poro and I Call Linux, because, I mean, if you don't see that Nautilus, you assume immediately that he is in that bush and he is going to try and hook you. And Hypnotic Hitman, he more than definitely has the damage to follow up on the solution since it's still early game, and he has the double buffs too, so that is now 2 kills for the solution and a 10 CS lead and growing. Not to mention, I believe that's 2 tower plates he's got? No, just 1 tower plate, but still a huge gold lead for the solution. If you take a look already, 1,200 gold. That's nearly an entire BF sword.
Yeah. Legacy looking for a potential gank in the bot lane, but Hitman McShmee backing off. This might give him a good chance actually to go for the Mounted Drake, and indeed he will start that up. He drops down a control ward, and Angelic Poro and, well, just Linux for now will rotate.
Ooh, so much damage coming out from this Mordekaiser in the top lane. Didn't know he went for that Null Magic Mantle first, but not quite a kill yet.
Drake down to 2000 HP. The BF sword has indeed been picked up by Hitman, as well as 2 long swords and some very nice boots as well. Angelic Poro only with a Vampiric Scepter, and he's really going to be feeling so much damage coming out. If you thought Mr. Shmee and Hitman were being aggressive before, well, they're going to be even more aggressive now.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's just such a huge AD difference, and the Vamp Scepter sustain, it doesn't mean a lot against this lane, like, yeah, see?
No, because you don't have a chance to lifesteal back, do you? It's just so sudden.
Yeah, like, certainly you can in some trades, but there's going to be a lot more all-in. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just a game of dodgeball right now in the bot lane here for Angelic Poro, because,
I want to kind of tell Mr. Shmee, though, you know, just... It's something that a coach once said to me when he was teaching me how to play Leona. You know, don't throw your E. Just walk up to them. You've got boots. They don't. Just walk up to them and smack them and get your CC off, and then use your E. And I feel like it is something that a lot of players sometimes forget.
Yeah, because I mean, sure, Nautilus actually has really low base move speed at 325, which is the same as Ashe, but like you said, he has those boots, and that lets you eventually close the gap to make that hook so much easier to land, because obviously much easier to land a half-distance hook compared to a full range hook, but either way, it is still extra pressure in this lane, and it is amounting to a growing CS lead and some extra damage on this tower.
The
so
depth charge is available as well now.
Yeah, you can't even dodge that. So it's like, fancy feet will only get you so far.
Yeah, as Mr. Shmee constantly looking for those dredge lines, just unable to find them so far. Linux will be hitting level 6 soon, and that solo player could be enough to potentially turn those fights around, especially, you know, when Hitman or Mr. Shmee try to play aggressive. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow could just be enough to stop the engage.
Yeah, but
once again steps forward. Won't fish for a hook this time around.
Yeah, thing is though, this engage is just multiple ways to engage between the dredge line and the oh my god.
The dredge line will land. There comes the depth charge as well. But the engage comes through onto Hitman. Focus onto McShmee. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will find a spot. The TB comes in. McShmee gets taken down. But the culling coming through. And that's going to be the kill going on to Hitman as he takes down Legacy for his 3rd kill of the game. A 1-for-1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, 1-for-1 in the bot lane, but that's now 3 kills on the solution, and Hypnotic
in the top lane coming up.
This is done.
Level 6 is available for Hippos, but he won't even get a chance to use their Hippos. Gets taken down as Bliss finds the kill, and now Hypnotic Gaming will just look to pick up some turret plate. Shelly not even available just yet.
Yeah, and absolutely crucial in that top lane fight was the exchange of ults between the 2 top laners earlier while all that chaos was happening in the bot lane. That's why that dive was possible, because if not, instant death realm onto someone while they're under your tower kind of guarantees they die. Or at least you get to survive long enough.
Oh yeah, it was actually a cooldown. Pardon me, I missed that.
That's all good, because it's like, it can be a little hard to notice in spectators since there is definitely the unique effects where they both go green, but it's like, they just kind of blend in with the grass, and especially with the, you know, the whole 3 versus 3 going on in the bot lane.
Yeah. However, Rift Herald is up. Bliss has a backed and TP'd back into lane. Completed Rod of the Ages as well. That being said, though, Spike does have his Luden's Echo. And now Mr. Shmi going for the Ninja Tabby over the Moby Boots is starting to look to roam around. And his first target is this mid lane.
Yeah, and nothing much coming out of it as of now. And Tabwise is a little interesting since there's not a ton of 80 damage that you really... Oh my god, that hook land.
Line finds his mark. However, Linux is here. Solar Flare will be able to allow him, but Hitman free fires onto Angelic Pyro and picks up his 4th kill of the game. Flash Dredge Line in, and the root as a Riptide finds the kill. Sonic Wave almost lands onto Linux as Legacy looking for a wave in Sonic as, pardon me, Zenith Blade lands Linux, so getting bursted down. Bliss won't go under turret as another Sonic Wave just falls shy of its mark.
Yeah, but just more W's being picked up across the map here for Hypnotic Gaming. Death Realm comes out.
Death Realm does indeed come out, but Viper will be waiting to pick up the pieces as support is used by Reese's Pieces, and the Hippos comes out of the Death Realm just to be greeted by a Sonic Wave. Viper picks up the kill.
Yep, and that stopwatch was absolutely crucial there for keeping Reese's Pieces alive. Sure, he might have survived, but that would have been way too close for comfort if he did. First tower picked up the bot lane, Culling coming out, and
the Culling will follow through. He picks up the kill with a W. Ultimate disrespect at the end from Hitman. 5-0. Essence Reaver has been completed. 9 kills to 1 for Hypnotic Gaming. Here we go though. Legacy looking to steal. Oh, Rushali away. Won't be able to do it. Viper picks up the Rift, the Eye of the Herald. Excuse me. Sacrifices his life for it, but cleanly done by Viper.
Yeah. Legacy though, he had Smite for that, and there was still a feared Hypnotic Viper there. He could have tried to go for that, but he didn't pull a Smite trigger, which does kind of suck. But I mean, in the end, you do at least get a kill and deny a completely free Rift Herald, so that's nice. Linux though, he's a little caught out.
Look at the damage coming through by Bliss. Statue of the Week will find its mark onto Mr. Shmi. 13 kills in game 1. It was close in the early game. Game 2, Hypnotize are well and truly leading the game. Shelly has been secured, and Viper could be looking to drop that down in the mid lane. Dressline will find its mark, and oh, the depth charge comes through. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land. Bliss tanks it up, and Mr. Shmi will get taken down, but the Sonic Wave comes through. Blast Cone to safety, oh, but the safety guard to the ward. Angelic Pyro has nowhere to go. Viper picks up the 3rd kill of the fight. 3 for 1 as Happy Hippos take so much damage. Bliss picks up the kill, and now Hypnotic Gaming, he will take the inner turret. Shelly still standing, will charge to get a lot of damage, and oh my god, Hitman almost takes down Legacy with just such a short trade. CC lands, there comes the Scatter of the Week. Viper won't get blown up just yet, as there comes the Unleashed Power, will find a kill onto Hitman. Finally, Hitman getting shut down, but look at the inhibitor. We're only 14 minutes in. Out comes the body spike, taking a lot of damage. Sonic Wave not going to be able to find spot. There comes the devastating charge. Legacy picks up the kill on Smoke of Shadows, almost of a cooldown, as Legacy can look to go in, but the Sonic Wave resonating strike. Viper takes another kill, gets hit by the volley as Mr. Shmi turns up. Could look to turn things around, but will decide against it as Hypnotic Gaming finally back off.
Yeah, but that is absolutely huge, because we're not even 15 minutes in, and we saw a 10k gold lead before those shutdowns were handed over to the side of Team World Class Blue, and oh my god, they're just so far ahead. Like, you had Shelly run down an inhibitor turret at 40 minutes into the game. Like, that already tells you you're stomping, if you're not looking at it being 14-5 in kills and 5-0 in towers.
And if Hypnotic Gaming hadn't, gotten so aggressive after getting the inhibitor, they probably would have picked up the inhibitor without too much of an issue either.
Yeah, because Hypnotic Hitman, he was like, yeah, I got so much damage right now. I'm gonna charge into Lissandra with 1/3 of my health bar as an AD carrying. He forgot the magic creed as the ADC is that mid laners will delete you with one button, and especially if you're at 1/3 health against a Syndra.
Yeah, and deleted Hitman was, Hitman, they should reset, once you get one hit off, just back. But Hitman getting aggressive as Hypnotic Gaming are just going to clear out the bot side jungle of World Classic of Blue. They pick up a Mountain Drake for themselves, and they're going to be burning through these turrets even quicker than they were before. Recent Pieces might be getting caught out in the top lane, as there comes the Death Realm. Slicing Maelstrom will come in, but Recent Pieces Lightning Rush away, Flash as well, as McShmee taking a lot of damage. His team isn't quite there for him yet, as Scatter of the Week locks him down under the turret. Recent Pieces got taken down in the top lane as well, and now he is just a 3-for-3 in the bottom lane, as Bliss just looking to free fire those overloads. The inner turret, not quite taken down just yet, Hitman. Light Slinger, not quite enough, and they'll take a fair bit of damage. Got the double buffs once again, though. Linux gets hit by the Sonic Wave. There comes the culling as well. Is it enough for the kill? No, it is not. Scatter of the Week will land, and there comes the Dark Sphere. Oh no, the ult lands, and there comes the Zenith Blade as well. Spike picks up the kill, and Hypnotic Gaming playing a bit too aggressive. Flash forward from Spike, and there comes the damage with the Light Slingers. Hitman picks up the kill, flashes out the Triumph. Will come in clutch, but the Ignite takes her down, and Hitman will fall. Close as you are like the Hitman, just falling right at the last kick.
Yeah, thing is though, if you consider what's happened around the map globally, that was a 4-for-1 in the favor of Team World Class Blue here. So you're just feeding more money into the team that you're already dominating. Sure, you still have like about a 7,000 gold lead just over, but it's like you're giving them gold you shouldn't be doing. Like, what was Hypnotic Hitman doing there, dashing into tower and hitting it? Like, just wait for the wave. Just wait for it. You don't have to rush down this game with how far of a lead you have, but I mean, at least they do still have a very commanding lead, but this is a worrying trend if they do keep up play like this.
And this might be, as you mentioned, very worrying for Hypnotic Gaming, because it's allowing World Classic Blue to get to that kind of mid-game stage where they should be very strong once Happy Hippos does get those 2-3 items, and Angelic Poro as well on that 2-3 item mark as well.
Legacy.
Oh, Slicing Maelstrom comes in. So much damage, Legacy. It's taken down so low, and the Overload steals the kill there. Bliss picking that one up.
Yeah, and this Hecarim still doesn't have the Triforce, one of Hecarim's most crucial items to his build, and he's only sitting on the Warrior, so he absolutely melts, because usually you see the Hecarims, they rush the Triforce, although you can get that Warrior first too if you want to, but I mean, you have 150-ish health coming out of that phase right now. That is 0 tanky stats on this Hecarim. He absolutely melted in the face of Reese's Pieces Cannon there.
Yeah. 16 kills to 9, an 8k gold advantage. It was almost 10k 2 minutes ago, but Hypnotic Gaming have failed to really stretch out that lead, as they've just got a little bit too over-aggressive with some of their pushes. However, Bliss now split pushing in the bottom lane. Might get caught out by Legacy. Has to be a little bit careful here, as the rest of Hypnotic Gaming are looking at this mid lane. There is an open inhibitor, but Hypnotic Gaming haven't been able to find any pick that would allow them to fully commit for it.
Yeah, for sure, but I mean, with how big their gold lead is, they could just look to brute force it, because an 8k gold lead at about 20 minutes into the game is still rather insane. And you can just more or less brute fights with how much you outstat the enemy. Currently, though, that's not the case. Just going to take themselves a red buff here. And currently, the plan is wait for that Baron to spawn and then play around that, because you do have the Earth Dragon. You have hilariously fed carries in Hypnotic Bliss and Hypnotic Hitman here, and looks like that is just actually going to be the call. Won't be the fastest take here with just 3 members, but the cavalry has arrived.
Yeah, and they have a Mountain Drake as well. The hookshot will spot that Baron has been started. 2 world classes do have a way in. Devastating touch, they can't steal the Baron, and that will be legacy of falling. As here we go, Reese's Pieces looking to potentially go in. Has Slicing Maelstrom available. Not going to be able to find a way in with a lightning weapon. Hypnotic Bliss stepping forward. Reese's Pieces, Hextech Protobell forward. Could just look for the Leona right now, but the culling coming through. Not quite enough to burn through Angelic Pyro. The inhibitor will be the focus. It is a 5v4. Sonic Wave finds its mark, but no Lee Syndrome just yet. The way for the flash Q will land. Someone get the burn, and there comes Slicing Maelstrom burning through the Leona. Unleashed Power will take down Hitman as Reese Pieces solo. The devastating charge for Legacy takes a lot of damage, gets hooked up, and will get taken down as Mr. Shmee solo, but just can't get taken down. Ranger's focus was on cooldown, and it will be 2 kills for 1 at the base in favor of Hypnotic Gaming. They pick up the inhibitor and they will back off.
Yep, and it looks like Cloud Dragon's up on the menu right now. Just pick that up since that's free, and you should still have enough Baron buff left for a wave or 2 even after this, I believe. So just grab this, back spend all your gold, and look either towards bot or the top to force that in. Since you do have that hidden 6th member constantly pushing that mid while that inhibitor is down.
When those super minis will get the Baron empowered buff as well, it is going to be very hard for World Class Blue to defend, as they don't have a lot of wave clear, especially as Angelic Pyro is yet to finish that Rune's Hurricane.
Yeah, and just absolutely devastating, because if you look between these 2 carries, almost double the gold coming out right here for Hypnotic Hitman right now, even though he hasn't had the best luck recently, because he had that insane 6-1 start, now down to 8-3, so not as good nearly. A lot of that does just come down to him trying to make those big cojones plays that haven't really been working out.
There we go, 4-1 split push coming in from Hypnotic Gaming. Once again, who is in the bottom lane, but here we go, Sonic. Pardon me, as the Slicing Maelstrom comes through, Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land into beach, but he's able to use so much. The TP comes in from the rise. Linux gets taken down. It is 3 kills for nothing. Staffer of the Week will keep Hypnotic Gaming away from the 2 squishies, but they are the only members that are remaining. The inner turret will get taken down. Hypnotic Gaming, they can keep on pushing. Recently, still back. He has the TP, so he can just TP straight back in if he so wishes. But it looks like he's just going to walk it down at the moment. The Baron empowered mini is crashing in the top lane. Spike might be getting caught out. There comes the Rune Prison, and everything gets thrown right on top of him. Resonating Strike comes in. Viper will somehow stay alive as well, as Legacy getting burnt down as well by the overloads. He's into the bot lane. As focus is on the bot lane. Inhibitor turret, scratch that! It's on the base as the Dreadfly does find its mark. Nexus turret number 1 is down. 24 minutes into this game. Hypnotic Gaming looking to make it 2-0, but they will bat for now, or they're just going to pick up their 2nd inhibitor. Will they go in? Relentless Pursuit away, but they find the Dragon Rage kick onto the Ash. They find the kill as the Solar Flare does nothing at all. It's a double kill for Hitman, and it will be the base are crumbling in Classic Blue's eyes. There comes the unstoppable onslaught, but it is stoppable. Hitman did get taken down, but it will be the 2nd game going over to Hypnotic Gaming.
Yep, and now they're up 2-0 this series. An extremely dominant game coming out, and the only real hiccups we saw from them were when they got a little too adventurous in that game. And I mean, if you're World Class Blue, something has to change, because you've already used up 2 of your get out of fear jail passes, but you haven't got any left in this series, so you're gonna have to pull off that full-on reverse sweep.
Yeah, and Hypnotic Gaming are just looking so strong right now. As you mentioned, World Classic Blue will need to pull off a reverse sweep if they do want to make their way into the finals. But with that said and done, we're going to be heading into a short break, and we'll be right back with Game 3 as Hypnotic Gaming look to make the clean sweep and make their way into the Rampage Premade Finals. We'll see you in just a short bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some news for you guys. Unfortunately, one of the members from Team World Classic Blue were found to be smurfing by the league admins, and for that reason, the series is being given over to Hypnotic Gaming. However, if you think you've been robbed of a semi-final, you need not worry, because RR, the team that World Classic Blue beat in the quarterfinals, will be given the game against Hypnotic Gaming for the semis. That's going to be happening at some point midweek, so keep your eyes peeled on the Discord server for when that game will be occurring. If you're not in the Discord server, you can find all the links to that on the Twitch details under the stream. But I think that's it from myself and from GoForino. Any last words?
Yes, a quick warm shout out to a superstar streamer who recently got featured in Fortnite here, Rando Joe. Everybody, please go show this man some love on Twitter. He's well.
You
yes,
need to post that in the Twitch chat.
But yes,
the
that will
people
be-
need to see the reference. Okay. I think it's somewhere. Probably. Okay, right. So
Yeah.
there you go. Joe's gonna put that there for all of you guys. However, enjoy the Fortnite picture, but from myself and from GoForino, it's good night. So stay tilt proof on the rift, and we'll see you next time.